Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vase. I think it's about 11 p.m. here, Sunday night. I am in Tbilisi, Georgia. Absolutely lovely here. Man, I know I've been hyping up Ukraine for a couple of years now. Man, I just got another city that's in my top five. Can't believe I didn't make it out here earlier. I don't know how I'm not going to be coming here once a year, but definitely a country, a city that is under the radar. And that's where I am right now. Might actually extend my stay. Was going to go to Ukraine for a few days before Hackers Congress in Prague. Might just stay here. We will see. We will see. So welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin. Those of you that logged on to my channel last night saw something a little bit different. We were just live streaming and having fun with Ugly Old Goat and the Working Man's Crews. They are having a ball of a time. It's not even a Bitcoin conference. It's just a hangout, drinking, riding ATVs, watching car racing. Man, I wish I was there, but unfortunately, I'm on the other side of the world. And speaking of the other side of the world, let's bring Joe Saz back onto the show. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Excellent, man. How are you?
Good, good. It's been a while since you've been on. Let's give, maybe I've picked up like one or two new YouTube subscribers, probably at most one or two these days. Give us a brief intro of who you are, Joe.
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. My name is Joe Saz. Been in the space. Bought my first Bitcoin 2015. Started trading hardcore 2017 into where we are now. I work for Block TV and I do their technical analysis on my show Traders Take, where you can find my work at least 3 days a week. And on top of that, I've been doing some YouTube content by popular demand and just helping people understand my outlook on how to see Bitcoin through a different fundamental lens and to layer whatever strategies traders have on top of that with the solid foundation of understanding how Bitcoin breathes and operates on an exchange with buying and selling and visualizing what buyers and sellers are doing. So long story short, my analysis method is a very ground up approach and with a very strong foundation, and it's proven to be very effective for me, and happy to help and educate others.
Dude, love your monitor setup. You know what you need to do? You need to get that Samsung. I think it was a 48-inch curved monitor. Have you seen that?
I've seen curved, but I haven't seen it that one. You're talking
Yeah, it's
about
like
the three screen, or are you talking
no,
about a
no, no,
bit?
no, no, no. It's like one thing. It's like a single monitor that will basically replace your three monitors.
Yeah, yeah. When I make the move, if it's 4K and it has probably like 1 millisecond delay, then I'll make the switch. But these computers are used for a lot. I got a, as a trader, and you understand the market goes sideways. You got to fill that time with something. So I like to have low latency on my monitors. So as long as I'm definitely upgrading in the future. I'm a minimalist, as you know. I go on a need basis.
Yeah, no, no. I am definitely a minimalist. This is my universal converter for all outlets around the
Oh,
world. Like I really look for like the smallest freaking things to manage stuff. This is my speaker, like, and this is my battery that charges my laptop on the go. Like I'm a, I
yeah.
got traveling for months non end without ever checking bags and being a live streamer, you gotta go all out with equipment, which is why it annoys the hell out of me when these sound Nazis talk about how the sound is bad.
Mm.
Anyway, all right, let's digress. I already see the order book behind you, man. You're a big order book guy.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to the charts. We'll start with my charts. Actually, we'll start with my website. We're going to update this website very soon. Unconfiscatable is going to go on sale soon. I got one workshop coming up in Bucharest, Romania. Check that out, guys. A few people are starting to pick up the indicator once again. Don't forget the free notification service. Check out, it's free for now. I mean, honestly, the developer team, we thought it was going to be a simple effort to build this notification surface for the sequential. It's turning into rebuilding TradingView because we can't use it for commercial purposes. So we literally have to rebuild TradingView. And this is becoming a huge, huge endeavor. We'd actually realize how critical it is. I spent like 4 hours on a call with my developer of the sequential. We're going to make some changes. We're going to alter a couple of things to make it even better now that we have some back testing data that people have been doing for me. Lots of things are changing. So check out the indicator page if you're interested. Oh yeah, we got to get your picture on here actually. Unfortunately, Tyler will need to be removed, and we'll throw Joe Saz on there into the trading community graphic. All right, guys, affiliates if you want to support, and calendar if you want to know where I'm going. All right, let's talk charts. The monthly chart, man, another month is about to come to an end. I kind of want to see this be a positive candle. And I think it will be. Oh, wow. Are we really at 98.38? Oh, no, that's last night's price.
Oh, you scared me.
I know. No, we're at 99.90. Yeah, that was last night's price. It's the BLX index. It updates once a day. And also this is Heikinashi, so they do like an average kind of thing. So, the monthly doesn't change. We're having consistently lower highs. We're having consistently higher lows. But next month, this thing is going to break one way or another. It is so strange how this turned. If you look at the history, you know, Bitcoin turns pretty slowly. And Bitcoin turns pretty slowly. And it turned rapidly. And this has been my struggle. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know why. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think next month is going to clear so many things up. I think going into November, there's going to be so much more clarity as to the future of Bitcoin. Any comment on that, Joe, before I go on to the weekly chart?
Two comments. One, I'm after a lot of research, I do believe that I understand what caused this, but you know, especially having to do, and I could show you the chart, you know, about Tether and all that, but I think that was the wrench and everything, a steep jump up. I do agree with we'll have more clarity on what happens as a result. It seems like they've kind of slowed down their 100 million prints at a time, ending toward mid-July, I'd say. So they're printing a little less. I think we're looking at more organic, traditional Bitcoin trading, which is kind of like whales versus everyone that's trying to catch pumps and dumps. So, and then to comment on the October thing or November, I think I'm really looking toward the mid to end of October to be the thrilling conclusion to the end of this descending triangle. Whether we break out to the upside or we break down, I really believe there is no in between. I think it's going to be a violent move in either direction. So I'm definitely excited. I'm looking forward to, you know, and we'll show on the daily why I think it's going to be, you know, toward the mid to end of October. But yeah, I'm expecting this more. I'm expecting this to have a breakdown, but I'm a reevaluator. I don't really like to make long-term predictions with Bitcoin. It's very volatile. So, you know, we'll continue to reevaluate and pick it up every day, like you do and like I do.
Yeah, so here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart activated a trade for the first time in over 2 months. And that trade was a short trade. The weekly chart activated a short trade as of slightly lower prices than right now. It activated a short trade as of $9,850. And right now we are at $9,980, right? definitely activated it a little bit higher. The low in the current week was 9,600. I would have been hesitant in taking this short trade. And the reason is because even though the weekly time frame indicated a short, and I would say there are more things leaning short right now than leaning long. We are below the stop and reverse points, which Socrates and Tyler Jenks really liked. We are below the lowest moving average, which is the 7 period on a weekly that I pay attention to. We activated a short trade based on sequential, and we are barely holding the 38% Fibonacci. All of these things are pretty bearish. Also, we fell below this very solid trend line. All of these things are pretty bearish. The bullish case for Bitcoin on a weekly scale is very minimal. There's almost nothing here to cling to be bullish on a weekly scale, other than the long-term weekly moving average and the intermediate-term weekly moving average are rising and the price is above them. But the price is so far above them that it definitely, needs to pull back closer to them or consolidate and wait for the moving averages to catch up. Like, the bullish case for Bitcoin on a weekly scale is incredibly weak. Now, having said that, I don't believe a short trade right now is warranted because we are still in the descending triangle on a daily basis. And yes, this triangle could break out to the upside. The bad news for the daily case is that we are about to close a full candle, not a full candle, but we are about to open and close a candle below the 128-day moving average. And that has not happened in a long time. That hasn't happened since March of this year, but March of this year was a very different environment. The 128-day moving average, which is very critical to Bitcoin, was declining, and therefore we were in a bear market. The last time Bitcoin closed below, fully below, the 228-day moving average, while it was rising. Because look how it has supported the price of Bitcoin all throughout the bull market. Even this candle here did not open and close below it. It opened below it, but it closed above it. And the next candle opened on it and closed above it. So this almost never, ever, ever happens. The 128-day moving average, while it's rising, so here, the last time this happened, we have to go back to 2016, okay? And it wasn't rising very much back then. But this is really, like, here's the situation where we were closing below the 128 while still in an uptrend. The last time this happened was 2016. So we are talking 3 years back. Actually, it was exactly 3 years back. It was September, October of,
one thing I want to add to that, though, is we're closing beneath it after a parabolic uptrend. And comparing that to the last parabolic uptrend, we closed below it, wrestled it, and then broke down violently. That was probably around January, February of 2018. So if you go back a little bit, you'll see that how we reacted after a parabolic run up to the 128. And I think there are a couple things that add to the bearish narrative here. I mean, we're now fighting it. We struggled. We poked our heads beneath it. We were supported by it. We broke down beneath it, and now we're opening and closing beneath it. I think that this 128 is up for grabs now, and I think it's, since we ignored a lot of the rules going up from April 2nd, I'm not expecting everything to hold as it typically would on the way down support wise.
Yeah, I'm really like, look, as long as we are in the triangle, we're okay. And if we can break out of the triangle, that's great. But if this triangle starts to crack in early October, I think it can get ugly and very quickly.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm looking at a minimum 75. I'm probably looking at lower targets. Like I said, I'm a reevaluation kind of guy. But if this does break down, then I'm kind of looking at the 7,000 range as maybe a chance for Bitcoin to get some footing. But
Well,
it's really hard to call right now, and
yeah,
I think this descending triangle is very significant. I'm not taking this one lightly.
here's the good news. The good news is if this triangle breaks to the downside, it will be the ultimate buy the dip situation.
Yeah. The one thing that scares me is the sugar hyperwave. Leo posted this a while back, and there was an example of a hyperwave that scraped percentage points away from phase one, came up into a very high point just underneath the phase six high, and then came all the way back to phase seven. So if we're talking about that stuff, there are anomalies, and Bitcoin can very well be one. I don't think there are too many anomalies, but I know that Bitcoin can potentially be one. It's Honey Badger don't care. But I'm definitely thinking that anything's up for grabs right now. Yeah, this is what Leah posted right there.
Yeah, so what we are talking about is this situation. And I've been meaning to talk about it one of these days. And this is a concern that, I mean, forget the time scale. I mean, Bitcoin, we're not in the 70s, we're in a digital age. So compared to the 70s, you want to multiply everything by 5 as far as time is concerned. So sugar had a high in 1974 and then a secondary high in 1980. So that's 5 years apart. Okay. So I've been using like 3x for Bitcoin versus gold. So even if we use 3x, that's a couple of years apart, which is about what Bitcoin is. And like this is the concern. This is a parabolic rise that did not go to new all-time highs, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's going to all-time lows.
Yeah, and we gotta prepare for that eventuality. It's very possible. So I'm very flexible. Be the water. If Bitcoin, if the charts are revealing and buyers are selling, or buyers and sellers are revealing that they're more interested in selling, and buyers are getting exhausted, and this thing's gonna look like it's gonna tumble. Yeah, I'm short. If the exact opposite happens and buyers rally, then we go long. And onto the indicators though, and the fundamentals here, it's really looking grim. I think this is a weird fight at 10K. We're now fighting for 10K below it, which is a little bit uncommon considering the past number of weeks. But I'm going to show you. I kind of have that special chart that I wanted to bring up to show you why I think sellers are dominating the market and doing so in a very coordinated effort. I think that you'll see I can present a very solid argument as to why, even though we're in these ranges, sellers still own the market and things are going to get worse.
Yeah, and okay, look, I do want to point out that Bitcoin is not sugar. Sugar can be created indefinitely. So am I expecting Bitcoin to go to new lows? Of course not at this point. I'm just expecting us to pull back significantly. What is my most likely outcome for the low, for a buy the dip low in Bitcoin? Probably 7,000 area. Can it go lower? Yes. How low can it go? If it goes lower than 5,000 is a reasonable low. Can it go lower than 3,000? The answer is absolutely it can. And I think it's crazy to assume that it can't. Now, I know Willie said there's a 0% chance we're going to go to 5,000. I'm not giving it a 0% chance. I'll give it a 5 to 10% chance. And I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I think there'll be a good, yeah, go ahead.
I think 45 was mine, and I think 45 because that's the day of the April 2nd pump. $80 million injected into the crypto space by a single accumulator. I think that's kind of where everything took off and went out of whack. And so to me, it's like a 4,500 area, and a bounce from there would probably be one of the. Then I would definitely, assuming things work out as I see them playing out, I would go super bullish from 4,500. I wouldn't expect us to go much further, but again, it depends on the velocity at which we hit those targets, and you know, the feeling in the air. I mean, you know, the trending emotion in the space. There's a lot that's going to go into this decision, whether we go higher or lower from these areas that can potentially be dangerous after a breakdown from this descending triangle. But we have a very diehard bullish movement here in Bitcoin. So, I mean, they're fighting. The bulls are fighting every single day to keep the price. So, you know, it could very well be that 9K is solid support. We never break it. I mean, we're going to have to keep reevaluating. But I do think descending triangle breakdown means probably a minimum of 7,000 price range.
Yeah, and well, 4,500. If we hit 4,500, I mean, I become a lot poorer, but at least I get a free stake, free $100 stake from our RAN of Crypto Trader, because we still have an outstanding bet that Bitcoin will pull back to 4,500. So right now, Bitcoin isn't exactly sugar, but what we're trying to point out is this: is that an asset could be speculatively bid up after a crash, not go to new all-time high, and have a subsequent crash. And talk about inflation, like sugar still is that is 65, that is 11. Sugar is about 70% lower today than it was in 1974 as far as price is concerned. And the technology has not changed that much. They could make sugar back then too. All right. Anyway. Oh, wait. I got to plug in my laptop here. Hold on one second.
For sure.
My
So the
battery's
lesson here is anything is possible in BTC. We evaluate as we go along, and right now the evaluation is descending triangle. It's pretty clear and obvious to me. I don't agree with the pennant stuff, or I don't agree with the descending wedge stuff. I just don't see it. I think people are using a little too much imagination to draw certain things. But I definitely see a clear descending triangle here, and the probabilistic outcome is a move to the downside, but we also have a couple external variables in play. And if you zoom in, you'll notice that we're on a red 7 right now. This is really interesting to me because 2 days from now is going to be a buy signal if we continue at this trajectory or even go sideways. And Tuesday is back to launch. So
I thought it was tomorrow. Is it Tuesday?
I'm under the impression it's either very late Monday or early Tuesday. I could pull it up right now real quick. But it's going. We have a buy signal coming up. So I'm not 100%. Let's see. So actually, they're saying tomorrow. They're saying tomorrow is the back launch. So I heard somewhere that it was late in the day. So I don't know if that would be considered Tuesday by some standards. 8 p.m. Eastern is when they plan to go live. September, let's see, 8 p.m. that day. Yep. So it's at the end of tomorrow. So we have you know, a buy signal on Tuesday. We have an external driver that can really affect the market. It might do nothing. I mean, mining FUD doesn't seem to affect traders anymore. You know, ETF speculation doesn't affect traders anymore. I think there's a number of things that maybe otherwise would have, but I think traders are pretty hardened by now, the people that are at least left in the space. So I'm pretty I'm really concerned about how this is going to play out. I'm pretty uncertain right now. So I'm waiting for that 9 buy signal. I'm waiting to see how things play. And basically, like I said on Block TV, I'm probably not going to be sleeping for like the next 2 or 3 days. I won't be able to turn my head from this. At any point in time, anything can happen. We're talking shakeouts. We're talking breakdowns, we're talking liquidity checks. It's going to be a rough few days, in my opinion, but it could also be nothing. And then that tells us that there's a lot less activity and traders trading the space than, than people want to believe. And if that's the case, and it's only traders trading the space, then that means there's no new money coming in. And that probably means the likelihood of this breakdown is much greater as a result of that. If the money is not coming from fresh pockets and people that like the 2017 run up, where every Uber driver, every member of my family, everyone was asking about Bitcoin, but we don't have that right now. So if the money is isolated and it remains this way, then I think that it's going to get exhausted, and I think the sellers are going to begin to compete to sell for the best price, and that is going to be a violent breakdown.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. I just glanced at the other time frames. 12 hours not interesting. The VIPMAX funding rate is still positive. That favors the bears. And the 4-hour chart, if you look at the 4-hour chart, and somebody hit me up earlier today, one of my friends, and mentioned that, hey, the 4-hour chart has been really good with the nines. Here's a 9 top on a 4-hour. That's a 13 top in a 4-hour. Here's a 9 buying opportunity. Here's a 9 selling opportunity. Here's a 9 buying opportunity. Didn't lead to much. Just the setup trend lines are just ridiculous. Here's another, this wasn't exactly a 9, but it was an 8 candle followed by strength. But this 9 was different. See, this 9 was a weak candle that was preceded by the strength. And I didn't like this. And we're below all the moving averages. If we can break this line on a 4-hour, we're good. But it's not looking likely. Just like I expected this area to get rejected, I'm expecting this to break. And here's the same descending triangle using the 4-hour chart. And man, this is looking really good right now. The bottom end of this channel. And guess what, guys? That bottom end is at 6,000. I'm not saying it's going to go there. I have a feeling that the middle line is going to hold us up. It's very likely that 8,000 is going to do it. But 8,000 is a good buying opportunity. Not with your whole stash. I like buying on strength. I don't like trying to catch a falling knife unless it's with sequential. So if sequential is telling me to buy at 8, I'll buy at 8. If sequential is telling me to buy at 5, I'll buy at 5. If sequential would have told me to buy at 3, I would have bought at 3, but it didn't tell me that. So I didn't buy at 3. Actually, I did buy at 4, but I sold at 5. I'm going to wait for my dip. I'm going to wait for my buy the dip. Guys, I have zero problem buying Bitcoin at $8,000, knowing that it's imminently going to 100,000, as opposed to buying it at 3,000. What difference is that going to make? I don't know. I don't get it. I'm a different breed of trader, and it served me well. All right, 15-minute chart, Joe. You want to talk about it? You want to pull up your chart?
Well, yeah, let me pull up mine because I'm going to start with our special guest, the 5-second chart.
All right. Before you pull up your chart, I just want to mention the financial summit in Bali. Prior to this call, I was chatting with Joe and trying to, convince him to convince his significant other to let him go to Bali. We will see. We will try to get Joe there. We're doing our best. Man, we got another person agreeing to come today. Still waiting for a description of one more hedge fund that is coming on board, and trying to get a couple of miners there because they really want to learn from some traders how to hedge their positions. It's turning out to be a great event. I mean, the 30 maximum attendees includes, my personal guests and other traders like Ugly and Van Zandt. I want to keep this very manageable, and I think we're going to come close. Don't be surprised if there's a big sold out banner here in about a week or two, because there actually is interest. I was a little nervous about this, but it's looking great. So check out the website,
Yeah.
thefinancialsummit.com. All right,
My
Joe,
picture
screen's
will be
yours.
up there soon, Tone.
Oh yeah, no, we'll definitely get your picture up, man.
Yeah. So, all right. And just for, I'm 99.9% going. So, we'll just say that live. Looking forward to it, and I'll be there. So let's talk about this for a second, though, because I've been dropping this down to a very small time scale to show people why I believe sellers still own the market. If you notice in these dips and the 15-minute chart, these will be viewable as reversal candles, right? This is like if you're looking at a 15-minute chart, this would be a gigantic hammer, right? Now you see all the volume is on the sell side, and sellers have been pulling liquidity, allowing buyers to sweep up the price without any obstacles in their way, without any liquidity on the sell side. Now we can run this back, and we'll see every time it's big volume on the sell side and no volume on the upside. And this is every single one of these scenarios. Big volume on the downside, no liquidity in the book, so buyers sweep it right back up. Now this feels to me much more coordinated of selling type activity than organic type activity. This is like a key to me that accumulators, big Bitcoin hodlers, are dumping their bags. Big coordinated sells followed by no liquidity. They let the liquid they just don't chase the book on the downside. Let liquidity stay at very low at dust, fractions of Bitcoin, or maybe even a couple whole number of Bitcoins, but no liquidity on the way back up. So sellers, in my opinion, are completely controlling the space right now. There's plenty of examples of sellers making all the volume and having very little to no liquidity on the upside. Now there are exceptions to that rule, and that's why I think bulls are suckers right now, because there's an obvious trend here that sellers are going to be pretty much taking advantage of the fact that buyers are willing to buy in this territory, and they're continuously doing so. Obviously, this is a 5-second chart, so we can't just go back through every single thing. This is really tough, but there are a number of examples if you want to backtest this idea to show that you can see the volume is on the sell side and there's really no liquidity on the way back up, and that's really dangerous in my eyes. On to the 15-minute. Let's see here. Let's
You
zoom
just
in.
double click it. Double click
Oh,
the price.
cool, cool. So here was a great shakeout. So here, and then here's basically the same theory in action on a 15-minute scale. All the volume is in the dump. There's no liquidity on the way back up. There's no volume on the way back up. There's a tiny bit of volume in this move. There's about a third or so, a fourth of volume in this move, of this single candle. But the entire price action from top to bottom of this run up versus high to low on this run up, they're about the same, but you see the volume is not there to justify this upside move, which tells me that sellers are letting buyers sweep the price back up so that they can keep selling at a good price. And buyers are going to keep playing into this trap. Here are the reversals that we were probably looking at. Here's a reversal hammer on the 15-minute chart. So big sell side, and it looks like a lot of volume, and you'll say, oh, well, a lot of that volume can have to do with this wick. But the volume is in the sell, and there's no liquidity for buyers to chase the price back up. So this tells me that I'm very firmly of the opinion that sellers are dominating this market. They're playing games with buyers, and as long as buyers are willing to buy at any price, right at this, in this range right now, it's 10K. Sellers are going to keep playing this move over and over and over again until bulls are completely wiped out, and then we have the breakdown. The breakdown on the descending triangle on the daily. Mine's drawn out a bit longer than yours, and we went over on our last video a conservative triangle versus a less conservative triangle. Mine's drawn body to body, which is more conservative, and that's why I think mid to late October is kind of the space where I'm expecting us to have our violent breakdown. But again, on Bitcoin, we have a couple issues, not issues, but we have a couple things going on. We have Bitcoin dominance still fighting in the 70s. We have and making its way back up. Definite altcoin decrease. So alt season is off the table in my eyes. did a little bit of math. It was about 3.6 billion or so in the when Bitcoin lost about 2% of its dominance, and that could easily account for these small moves or even sharp moves to the upside. So 3 billion, 3.6 billion for some of these other cryptocurrencies that have a total market cap of 12 billion in the case of XRP, which I think is also a scammy way to explain their market cap, because the founder rewards are considered circulating supply, and they each receive 20 billion. So I think XRP market cap should realistically be cut in half, considering their total circulating supply is 43 billion. But the point is, with a number of these altcoins like Litecoin and a few others where the total market cap is in the low billions, well, yeah, a 3.6 billion decrease in Bitcoin is going to reflect in a little bit of an upside move in these alts, and there might even be some buying involved. But I still think that we're looking at Bitcoin dominance continuing the rise, alt season off the table, and once all the alt money is done moving into Bitcoin, again, since I believe sellers are in control of the market, sellers are going to grab this market by the horns and just thrust them to the ground. And I think probably 7,000s, like we've been saying, is probably a realistic conservative price target, in my opinion. And I do believe that we could go lower.
Yeah, no, that was very well said, Joe. And I'm going to go back to my screen share. Speaking of Bitcoin dominance, here is that chart. We are pulling back a little bit. We will find out real soon if that actually amounts to anything or not. Here's Ethereum. Now, Ethereum actually on the, I didn't even realize how well Ethereum has behaved with sequential. Here is a 9 sell that turned into a price flip. Here is an aggressive 13 with a 9 buy, 1 to 4 candle correction, entered a countdown phase, and this countdown phase, well, another countdown phase from this 9 had ended right here. You had another 9 there, leading to a nice run up that ended right here on a 9. So Ethereum versus US dollars has been behaving very well for sequential traders on the daily time frame, which is my favorite time frame. Litecoin, well, there goes your old season, right? Here's Litecoin versus Bitcoin, and that's already an ugly looking candle. We are back at the Mendoza line, and if this candle turns out to be negative by end of week, man, that's going to be ugly for Litecoin. B-Trash, hey, same thing. Man, it's got a really shitty floor right here, and which I want to draw. If you just take the average right here, I'm going to make this line thicker. Oh, can't. As thick as it gets. So there it is. Might have to move it a smidge down. I want to make sure I cover. There it is. Okay. That is a very critical line. And below that line, man, I can't wait for this scam to be less than 2% of Bitcoin and still watch Roger go on stage and talk about how great it is and how fast the transactions are. Like, your transactions are going to be lightning fast when the value of one Bcash is 8 cents, because no one gives a shit.
Yeah. If they're even mining at that point.
Yeah. Let me scale this back to 2019. And yeah, I expect Binance to be below the 0 line by the time the year ends. So let's see. Right now, the only coin in the top 10 that has outperformed Bitcoin is the Binance token. And I think it's going to lose 27% against Bitcoin by year end. We'll find out. It's the weekend. Gold hasn't really changed. No need to talk about. Silver had a nice little rally, but still not that much. Still not trading yet. Oil, same thing. S&P had a pullback at the end of the day on Friday. And hey, you guys are going to have a treat. So 2 things. Oh, actually, I was testing something. So I may go to dark backgrounds. So I am testing out. Wait, why isn't this displaying? Interesting.
Welcome
Where's my sequential?
to the rest of us in night mode. It's quite nice.
I may finally be joining a night mode. Hold on. We're migrating TD sequential to version 4 of Pine Code. There it is. And we altered colors to make sure it's good on black backgrounds. And I'm trying to get used to black backgrounds, so maybe I'll be switching to black backgrounds. We got lots of new features coming in. As you can see, here's the code. Here's part of the code. This code is 1,000 lines long, and it's incredibly efficient. You can see version 4 right there. And oops, sorry, right there. And yeah, so there's going to be lots of upgrades to the sequential. We've been combing the Tom DeMark book to make sure that we understand exactly how some of the intricacies of the advanced features work. So there will be some alterations and some new features coming in. I got to make sure that our sequential code is better and greater than anyone else in TradingView, and also even better than what Tom DeMark has, because they don't have double nines. They don't have that concept, but we do. And I think it's very, very valuable. This happens to be Nifty. And we've had some requests to look at Nifty, probably because of whatever the hell this is. I don't know what that is, but that is impressive. That is a candle that is 6.5% in size. Like, imagine an entire stock market moving 6% in one day. That is incredible. That's probably the biggest candle you guys have had in forever. I can't analyze that. It's an anomaly. I don't know the Indian market, so I can't analyze this. We can look at it from a bigger time scale, and on a bigger time scale, wow, look at the setup trend line holding. Incredible. There's your setup trend line holding. That is a green 2 on a weekly scale going above a green 1, and that makes me bullish. The buying opportunity should have taken place on Friday when this thing crossed $11,080. That was the buying opportunity on a weekly scale. This thing looks good. You want to watch the setup trend line. There was a 9. There was a buying opportunity here, a 9. We held setup trend. I have to be bullish the Nifty here. I got to be bullish Nifty. There was one more request for a stock. What was that stock? That was ILMN. That is, I have no idea what this company is or what it does. Oh my God. Beautiful. Now, this stock is obviously not part of our notifications, but like, you can't have a better looking 9 candle. Well, the 9 candle itself kind of sucks, but the following candle holding setup trend on a weekly scale and rising above that 9, creating a gorgeous buying opportunity. This 9 was on the week of September 3rd. I want to see if there was a daily 9 the week. Oh, wow, look at that. Combo and sequential 13s on a daily scale. Not the week of September 3rd, but at the lows. So definitely buying opportunities. You want to be careful right here. We are on a 9 daily. After a huge run up, this thing fell, not on earnings. And I would not be rushing into the stock right now. I still think it's bullish, but I also think just wait, be patient. At this point, you want to wait for a green 2 to be above a green 1. So you want to wait 2 more days here. But the weekly looks very, very good. So the weekly is bullish and your daily is short-term toppy. Man, great buying opportunities. The 9 weekly, the combo and sequential daily. It's awesome. Thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, this is looking great. My thoughts are that is a crazy drop. That is intense. I'd be very curious to know what instigated that from close to open, that humongous gap there. But yeah, you know, what's that?
I don't know what this company is. My guess is maybe it's a pharmaceutical. Illumina. Let me see. What sector is it in?
San Diego, subsidiaries,
You know what?
advanced
Let's
liquid
do
logic.
this.
This seems pharmaceutical, sequencing, genetic stuff.
Yep, just as I guessed, pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Genetic testing, yeah, it's a pharmaceutical. So this is the kind of trading, like I never optimized my option strategies for pharmaceuticals, but in my options class that I taught, I talked about pharmaceuticals. If you know an FDA decision is coming, there are strategies you can implement to profit from this drop, not knowing it's going to be a drop. This could have been in the opposite direction. So learning options allows you to profit from these insane moves if you know they're coming. And you know they're coming because it's not a secret that FDA is going to say something about your company.
Yeah, I just think when it comes to stocks, it's like to me, I feel like the reason why I can successfully trade Bitcoin is because I'm very connected to that asset. I find it, you know, especially when you're talking about other industries and stuff, I feel like it takes a lot of work to pay attention and see what's going on to make the most educated, you know, buying and selling decisions. It really takes time. Ruling out technicals, you know, I think that it's obviously the nines are good and you can't ignore that fact, but I really like to know what's going on.
All right, hey guys, Starbucks looks very weak here, but so if you get a price flip next candle, and then you get a red 2 going below the red 1, going below this 9, this is a classic 1 to 4 candle correction off this 9 buy, going into a countdown phase. Starbucks has been on a major roll. I mean, even if it pulls back to $84, that's still a reasonable pullback. So I would be very careful with Starbucks here. It's definitely due for a bigger correction. And on a weekly scale, it's only getting started. So beautiful 9, combo 13, 9 on a weekly, and you had a sequential 13 right here on the daily. So Starbucks was definitely toppy, and I still think it has more downside to go. We're going to be keeping an eye. I mean, Roku was another one. I was warning about Roku. The daily 9 came a little early, but the weekly 9 called the top beautifully, and this is a disaster. I don't really know what to say right now. Like, you already missed your drop. I mean, this thing just fell out $90 freaking in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, guys, if you think volatility is a crypto thing, it's not. Here is a stock, a popular stock, that just went from $190 down to 110. So that's almost a 50% correction in 2 weeks. Okay, even Bitcoin doesn't normally do that. So there's definitely stocks you can play, and we told everyone in the notification section that there was a 9 on Roku. a stock that I felt was overvalued. I mean, these are the kinds of nines you wanna time. So there's no comment. I wouldn't short this now. You're too late. Ooh, no idea what this is, but beautiful 9 right there. Again, holding setup trend. Amazing how often that happens. Oh, and there's a 9 right there. I wouldn't be in this trade though. It's not doing much. Any other stocks you want to look at, Joe?
I like Exact Sciences, EXAS.
Is that on my list?
I know we've talked about it before. They have a pretty solid product, and they just had a pretty steep drop, and I think it's in a good buying territory right now. I personally bought this. I'm pretty convinced it's a good buy. What do you think?
Right now, I would be cautious, but I do see that 9. My problem is that Friday's candle dipped below the 9. This 9 is not a reversal candle. It's also not a 9 I like because of this, whatever the hell happened on this candle. I like my 9s to be a clear indication of a low, or I like my 8 or 9 to be a clear indication of a low. This is a reversal candle. So this is a little bit of a saving grace. If I am not in this asset, the only way I would buy into it is if we are trading above this line tomorrow. Trading above this line tomorrow gets me bullish this asset, but I am still cautious of only a 1 to 4 candle correction followed by more downside. Right now, I would not be long in this, but if we cross that green line on Monday or Tuesday, I might go long. Unfortunately, my stop loss would have to be, below the shadow, and that's too much risk for my taste. I would find other swing opportunities personally, but I also am not familiar with the fundamentals of the stock.
Yeah.
On TA basis only, I would be cautious, and right now I would rather not be in and just watching.
I wish you had a couple moving averages up too, because I feel like this thing has had some good response. It's been a little bit volatile, RSI flips top to bottom, but I think as far as I might even have a chart with moving averages up. You want me to show it real quick?
I mean, I just added my moving averages, but these
Okay,
are
cool.
these
Oh, you
are
know what? I
weekly
was
parameters though. I want to change these to the daily parameters. My daily parameters are 20, 50, and 200. And again, too much risk. If this tip was at the 200-day moving average, I would be more bullish. But that's a lot of risk because that's a lot of room towards the 200-day, and these are not looking good.
Yeah, the fundamentals, just to back it up quickly, are a product. It's a non-invasive cancer screening treatment. FDA approved their colon cancer screening treatment as a standard of care, so it's accepted by health insurance. And I believe they have other non-invasive cancer screening tests in the works. So I kind of feel like this is a little bit of a shakeout, but again, looking at the technicals, yeah, this isn't pretty. I think I'm not all in, but I am buying bits and pieces of this, and I don't feel uncomfortable with that. I don't think it's too overheated. I do think it has room to go, but yeah, it's one that I'm glad we took a look at together. I still feel like yeah, this is a big crash. I need to know a little bit more about what happened, but I'm hoping that 9 buy plus the reversal is a good indication of a move back into the 120 and higher territory.
A friend just texted me asking me to look at Palladium. I don't mind. Was it Palladium or was it Platinum? It was Palladium. We usually look at platinum on this channel. We don't normally look at Palladium. Here is,
Palladium is air filtration metal, right?
yeah, so I'm not surprised that Palladium is going up. I've mentioned Palladium on my channels like as far back as like 4 or 5 years ago when I started this channel, maybe 4 years ago when I started talking about like commodities and stuff. China has a major pollution problem, and China is going to clean up their pollution. And Palladium is a big player in this. I've mentioned this even back on the World Crypto Network before I had my own YouTube channel. So I'm personally not invested in Palladium. I don't pay attention to it. But as far back as like 2013 and 2012, when I was actively trading, I remember reading articles that were very, very solid about the rise in the value of Palladium, mostly because of China's use to clean up pollution. And those articles were from 2013, like 2012, 2013. So if I back this out, I mean, Palladium was like just $600 back then. And now it's at 1,600. So those are pretty good. That was pretty good research. You can see how Palladium has just broken a double top. And I think Palladium can go significantly higher. I really
Would
like
you
it.
consider that a cup and handle, or is that handle too low for you?
I think the handle is a little too big for my taste. If this had broken out to the upside, I would have considered it a cup and handle. This is a little too big of a handle, so not really. But it doesn't matter because the point still stands. You have a double top and you just broke it. And then you back tested it. So it was looking very good on a daily scale. You just had a green 2 going above a green 1, so you can just get started here. This 9 never completed, and this 9 never completed. So according to the official Tom DeMark rules of sequential, we never had a top, and we can definitely get to another 9. Weekly scale, well, yes, we're on a sequential 13, but we're also just, on a 4 of 9, and we haven't had a 9 in a while. This was our last 9, and this was a double 9, and this 9 just completed its 13. On the sequential, here is its aggressive, and this 13 is coming from this 9. So this 9 still has another, oh, I'm on the combo, perfect. So the combo has one more to go. So this 11 represents the combo. So the combo still has one more. So you still have a combo 13 and another 9 coming up. I think Palladium can definitely go higher here. So I'm not saying you should buy at an all-time high, though in this case, I wouldn't necessarily mind. But if you're holding Palladium, there's no reason to sell now. I think it's going to go higher.
Hey, did we haven't looked at gold yet, right?
There's really not that much to look at.
There was a little bit of a reversal, I thought. I guess it doesn't look as significant. Yeah, I thought it was I thought I saw a bigger green candle at some point. Maybe it was during the week, and I just stuck in my memory. But I thought this was a much bigger candle.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch over to the dark charts. I think it's about time.
Do it.
Once we release the latest version of sequential sometime in October, and I'll switch it over to the dark charts. The new sequential is much better color coded for dark charts. It's color coded for both charts, but it's a lot nicer in the dark charts.
To traders like me who spend most of their time without the lights for camera on, it's you're in a dark space. I trade in my room. My office is in my basement, so it's kind of a dark space. So I'm just used to having my night vision. Everything's kind of dark. It's just easiest for me. I don't know if everyone likes their room dark. Maybe some people like the sunlight and stuff, but I'm kind of more of a man cave troll with obviously my beautiful setup that we were discussing earlier. So I'm all about night mode for some serious, beneficial reasons. Very nice on the eyes. So glad
All
to
right,
see you
guys.
making the switch.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. That was our sugar thing. I think that's it. I think it's time for me to go to bed. It's like past midnight here, and I'm driving up to the north side of Georgia. I'm gonna go to the border to Russia, uh, and uh, it's supposed to be a really beautiful country up there. So tomorrow is going to be a long drive. I may or may not bring my equipment. We'll see. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Once again, the Bali conference. Would love to see Joe Saz's picture down here. We will work our best to try and get that up there. Make sure he's going. And hey, check out the affiliate codes on tonebase.com if you want to support. LVL and eToro support US traders. I believe Deribit does not. Please check your local jurisdictions. And if you're going to sign up for TradingView or VPN services, please use the affiliate codes. They do sometimes give you discounts, and other times you just support the Tone Base free YouTube channel. And you can check out the rest of them, including my Amazon shopping list that I really need to update. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow my travels on the Tone Base calendar. And once again, thank you, Joe Saz. I didn't pull up any of your stuff, but you can find them at Joe_Saz. And why don't you, give the rest?
Oh, Tone, there's an imposter out there. So everyone, please be aware. My only, public names are Joe_Saz. I only have Telegram and Twitter. Please ignore anything from anyone else. I don't want anyone to get caught up in some garbage. But yep, there's someone out there trying to profit off my name. And yep, Joe_Saz on Twitter, Joe_Saz on Telegram. I have a Telegram group and all that. So Joe_Saz_TA. And just hit me up if you have questions, guys. My email, joe@blocktv.com. Feel free to hit me up with any questions. And as always, Tone, thank you so much for having me. I love working with you. It's always a great time, man.
Yeah, and welcome to my life. Socrates just complained recently about an imposter pretending to be him. Guys, this is like, you have no idea how much of my productivity time is spent dealing with people pretending to be me. I literally almost rage quit 2 weeks ago when I had 100 DMs from people to tell me that there is a fake Tone vase on Instagram and that I have to do something about it. There is nothing I can do about it. Instagram does not do shit to remove scammers and imposters. They don't do jack shit. It doesn't matter how many people report a scammer on Instagram. They don't do anything. And then people text me because they paid an imposter, and then they want me to do something about that.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, the only place to pay for tone-based shit is on tonebase.com or unconfiscatable.com or thefinancialsummit.com. Use the websites. Never, ever, ever pay Tone Vase through one of these channels. Like, make sure it's me. If you're gonna pay me, say, can I get on a video call before I pay you? That's perfectly normal.
100%. Reach out through proper channels, people. And Tone deals with it 10 times more than anyone else. It's my first experience, so all I'm saying is there are Joe@blocktv.com. Whatever you can do, just if you want to reach out to me, start there, and then we can confirm everything. But I just can't believe that this is the world we're in right now.
Yeah,
Scammers
it's
will
really
be
bad.
scamming.
It's really bad. Like, if you're gonna pay through the website, that is safe. But if you're gonna pay because I texted you, no. I don't have time to reply to text messages. No. All right, guys. I will talk to you all in the next one. Thanks again for joining me, Joe. And hopefully I'll do another stream tomorrow. Bye, guys.